This portion of the John Fredericks Show is brought to you by Hargrave Military Academy. Attend an educational and informative open house event at Hargrave Military Academy in Chatham, Virginia. For more information, visit online at hargrave.edu. Hargrave Military Academy. Build his future.
Our election tomorrow is going to determine the Republican nominee that will be vying to replace Lieutenant Governor-elect Ralph Northam in the 6th District of the State Senate of Virginia. That's the Eastern Shore, parts of Norfolk, and 3 precincts in Virginia Beach. How they got in there, I have no idea. And then Matthews County. So, but the stakes are high because the balance of the Senate for control is up for grabs. Dick Saslow, he's trying to get the Democrats to win so he can wrest power away from Tommy Normant, our state senator in Newport News, Virginia, who would like to see the Republicans win so he has outright control. So a lot at stake, especially with a new Democratic governor. And one of 3 candidates vying to be the guy to take on Linwood Lewis on the Republican side is a longtime Norfolk maritime businessman, Wayne Coleman. Wayne, great to have you with us.
Thank you, John. It's nice to be with you.
What is it? You've been in business in Norfolk for some time. You've kind of positioned yourself in this race as the outsider, saying the other 2 guys are just inside baseball lawyers, but you've been very successful. I mean, at this stage of the game, what really was the catalyst to get you involved in trying to get into Virginia politics?
Well, I suppose it centers on my being in the maritime industry for over 40 years and seeing what we went through with the privatization discussions last year with the port, and my feeling that I've been very blessed professionally and personally in my life to live the American dream and develop from the ground up a very successful business. And my concern is that future generations won't have the same opportunity unless we change the direction. We're not going to get different results unless we get a different kind of candidate in public office. So it's a public service initiative on my part to give back, just like our founding fathers intended when this country was developed.
So, Wayne, when you say you want to be a different type of a candidate, you want to be a different type of a state senator, define what that means, especially juxtaposing yourself to the other 2 candidates in the race.
Well, I'm the only business owner and job creator and someone with experience in balancing budgets in this race. If I'm running against really 3 lawyers, 2 in the Republican primary and 1 after the primary. So I'm the only one that has actually learned the lessons of addressing problems and making plans to solve them based on experience. Because in business, you learn that if you don't learn to solve problems, difficult problems, then you don't get elected. And just kicking the can down the road without that proper experience is not the way to get it done.
So when you say kicking the can down the road, what specifically has Virginia government, what have Republicans or Democrats done in Virginia to kick the can down the road, Wayne?
Well, I believe that we have too many elected people currently that can't identify how to fix problems and make decisions based on the fear of losing the next election. And I'm running for the next generation, not the next election. We have too many people that get in and compromise their principles, and I don't do that. I haven't done it in business, won't do it as a state senator. We have too many people that get in, and anyone can identify a problem, but we have too few with the business background and acumen in order to identify the problem, but also develop a plan to solve it.
Okay, so what you're saying, if I understand it, is of the 3 candidates, 2 of them are lawyers. So what you're saying is you're really the guy, the entrepreneur, the guy that started a business, met a payroll, created jobs, right? Is that what I'm hearing?
That's correct. That's exactly right. If we want to look to sue people, we've got 3 good lawyers. But if we're looking to create jobs and grow the economy, I'm the only one with that experience.
I do have to say that's a great line. I don't know, Wayne, who's going to win, but I tell you what, you guys are going to have to get some of that Eastern Shore vote that Linwood was able to cobble together on Saturday. But I'm going to get off that. Let's get on to policy here. Medicaid expansion. We just had Linwood Lewis on. He's like, look, we're going to be sending the money to Washington. We might as well get it back. The federal government is giving us like $3. It's going to create jobs. Why not?
If you're asking me that question, I say that I'm a small business owner. I understand the cost of health care. I've got over 50 employees, and my health care that I cover, have always covered my employees, runs into the hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. But I think it's my responsibility, and I've been doing it all along, ever since I've been a business owner. My fear is that we've got the federal government says, we're from the federal government, trust us. I don't trust them. They want the state of Virginia to sign a blank check where they contribute some money to the Medicaid expansion for a few years, after which it becomes the sole responsibilities of the hardworking taxpayers in the state of Virginia, including small business. I think we see from the rollout of the Affordable Care Act, which I think is the biggest oxymoron that I've ever heard used in that term. I don't know who came up with that term, but I think that we see the debacle that has transpired over the last several weeks with the rollout, and I can't see anything but more of the same if we buy into this expansion of Medicaid in our state.
What if you were to get elected state senator from the 6th District of Virginia, and you had a chance to sit down with Governor-elect Terry McAuliffe, Wayne? He says he's a businessman. He certainly, started some up. You're a businessman, and you got with him in a room. What would be your counsel to McAuliffe?
Well, I think the contrast, even with my business background and that of Governor-elect McAuliffe, is very stark. I think that I've actually done something to create jobs and improve the commerce. I really believe that our port is the greatest opportunity to leverage the loss of federal dollars that will certainly come about in this state. We're too leveraged. As a business owner, I'd be very, very scared if I only had one or two customers, and I had such a high percentage from one customer as the state has with federal dollars right now. I feel that it's unrealistic, and with the federal dollar shrinking, we've got to find a replacement, and I think that the port. So what I would say to Governor-elect McAuliffe is that we need to start leveraging this port by developing infrastructure, by trying to attract new business here, because without infrastructure, we're about to lose some of the commercial business. We've had threats of losing some of the military assets. And I think that the second thing right on top of that is we've got to improve education at a local level. And in order to do that, I think we need to get the government out of the way, both at federal level and the state level, and put more responsibility in local school districts, but with accountability for getting the results that also includes more activity and direct involvement by teachers. Teachers know how to teach. We need to inspire young people and young minds. We don't need the government having standardized tests that don't get good results, because one size does not fit all. What's troubling the Norfolk school system is different than what's troubling the Northampton County School District, and thus and so on. So we've got to improve the education to have a viable workforce to be able to attract commerce, and then we've got to go after it with improvement of infrastructure and perhaps even grants and incentives to have businesses move to the Commonwealth so that we have them as captive audiences, much like the Georgia legislator did down in Georgia to attract big box warehouse and distribution companies that are supporting Savannah right now. That's why they leapfrog Norfolk in terms of cargo tonnage.
You're right. That's exactly what happened. I covered Georgia for a long time in depth, and you got that one nailed, Wayne. That is exactly what happened and why Savannah ended up with that business and not Norfolk. Hey, I'm almost out of time. I want you to tell our listeners that want more information, how do they get involved with your campaign? Where do they find it out? And also just go over for us one more time. Tomorrow, if you want to vote in the 6th District, where do you go?
Well, there's, as you say, it's spread out. So one of the things I want to leave you with is this is going to be a full-time job. I can't imagine anybody being a part-time legislator and representing the constituents of the 6th district. So there's one polling place in each of the cities and counties, with the exception of Accomack, which has 4, one on Tangier, one in Chincoteague, one in northern Accomack, and one in southern Accomack. But they can learn all about the different polling places on my website, ColemanForVirginia.com. That's Coleman, F-O-R, Virginia.com.
Okay, ColemanForVirginia.com. Wayne, we're out of time. We want to thank you for joining us today. Wayne Coleman, one of 3 candidates vying for the Republican nomination to square off against Linwood Lewis in the 6th District State Senate special election that is going to determine who's in charge of the state Senate. Dick Saslaw, the Democrat, or Tommy Norman, the Republican. That'll be decided, that primary, tomorrow from 3 to 7 p.m., and you just heard from Wayne Coleman. Wayne, thanks for being with us. I'm out of time. Good luck tomorrow, Wayne.